Interview stance. Stand with head, hips, and feet aligned. Place your feet shoulder width apart with the knees slightly bent. Angle your body to the subject with your strong side away. Place your hands above waist level. Offensive ready stance. Stand with head, hips, and feet aligned. Plant your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart with your knees in a deep crouch. Your body is angled to the subject with your strong side away. Place your hands at face level and towards your center. Distraction techniques. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of the techniques. Interrupt the subject's concentration so that energy is redirected from the current focus by performing any physical strike or loud verbal command or shout. Examples of strikes can be knuckle strikes, palm heel strikes, punches, hammer fist strikes, elbow strikes, knee strikes, forearm strikes, back fist strikes, front, back, and angle kicks. Be sure to follow with appropriate techniques and actions. Evasion technique. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Assume the offensive ready stance. Sidestep the direct line of attack to either the strong or supporting side. Direct line of attack simply means the direction that the subject comes from. Sidestepping to either side gets you out of the subject's way. Face the subject. As the subject passes, face the subject and maintain an offensive ready stance. The offensive ready stance positions the officer to respond if the subject attacks again. Follow up with appropriate techniques and actions. Lead jab. From your field interview or offensive ready stance, transfer your weight forward by shifting off your back foot, which causes a rotation of your hips, and put your weight on your front foot, throwing your lead arm into a quick, straight line closed hand fist strike while rotating your palm downward as you deliver the strike. As soon as your closed hand reaches full extension, quickly pull it back into its original position to protect your chin. Cross. From your field interview or offensive ready stance, transfer your weight forward by shifting off your back foot, which causes a rotation of your hips, and put your weight on your front foot while throwing your rear arm into a quick straight line closed hand strike and rotating your fist downward as you deliver the strike. Be sure to pivot your rear foot at the same time you're throwing the punch. As soon as your closed hand reaches full extension, quickly pull it back to its original position for further protection. Lead hook. From your field interview or offensive ready stance, transfer your weight forward by shifting off your back foot, which causes a rotation of your hips, and put your weight on your lead foot. Pivot and slightly bend your knees. Throw your lead arm, which is now bent at a 90-degree angle, into your target with a closed fist that faces inward. Be sure to rotate your lead foot as you deliver the strike. As soon as your closed hand reaches the target, quickly pull it back to its original position for protection. Upper or high block. The arm should be used in a motion to deflect a strike from the neckline up to the top of the head. Mid-area block. The arm should be used in a motion to deflect strikes to the midsection of the body. Low block. The arm and or leg should be used in a motion to deflect a strike to the area below the belt line. Hammer fist strike. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Once in an appropriate position, identify the target area, make a fist, and use the bottom of the fist to strike the specific target area. Palm heel strike. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Thrust the hand forward, striking the target area with the palm heel of the hand. This strike can be delivered with the lead or rear hand. Rotate your shoulders and hips to deliver the strike properly. Elbow strikes. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of these techniques. Make a proper fist, hold it close to your body, flex your elbow, and rotate your body to strike the subject with your elbow. Follow up with appropriate techniques and actions. Knee strike. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Use the knee to strike when in close proximity. Drive your knee forward into the target area and follow up with appropriate techniques and actions. Front kick. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Transfer your balance to your support leg. Lifting the rear knee, snap the foot forward and strike the target with either the ball or the bridge of the foot. Shin scrape. Use loud verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Once in an appropriate position, transfer your weight, lift the other leg bending at the knee. Turn the foot either inboard or outboard and deliver a downward scraping thrust along the subject's shin. Follow up with appropriate techniques and actions. Angle kick. Transfer your balance to the support leg. Lift the knee of the kicking leg and rotate the hip. Either snap or thrust the leg toward the target area. Straight arm takedown. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Assume an appropriate position, usually an escort position. Slightly pull the subject off balance, straightening his arm, pulling his wrist downward with his or her palm toward you to your outside hip. Move your outside leg rearward, rotating your hips. Apply downward pressure to the elbow while maintaining control of the wrist. Follow up with appropriate techniques and actions. Leg sweep. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Assume an appropriate position and ensure the subject is off balance. Use your leg in a sweeping motion to direct the subject to the ground. Hip roll. From an upright grappling position, use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Place your hip into the subject's lower abdomen. Lower your center of gravity. Ensure your belt line is lower than the subject's. Accomplish this by bending your knees even if the subject is taller. This will allow you to lift the subject as you pull the subject over the hip and direct him to the ground. Follow up with an appropriate technique or action. Scarfold. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the use of this technique. The subject is on his back. Sit between the arm of the subject and one side of his body. If you are wearing a weapon, place your weapon side against the rib cage of the subject if possible. Face the subject's head and lean against his rib cage. Place your arm closest to his head around the back side of his or her neck and place it underneath his head using your forearm as support. Press your weight onto the subject's chest. Slide your opposite arm under his shoulder closest to you and clasp your hands together. Lower your head and turn your face away from the subject. Keep your feet 90 degrees perpendicular to the subject. From this position, you may continue to hold the subject, escalate, or disengage. Escape from the mount. Several key points is these legs need to be as high and as close to your feet need to be as close to your butt as possible. This will give you extension when using your hips to escape. Your elbows need to remain down in order to avoid the subject sliding his knees under your elbows, removing your ability to use your hips. So the elbows remain down. Another component of this is you need to move fast and you cannot stay here. When a subject goes to strike you with all his weight, you're going to bridge, catch the arm, either outside or, go ahead, bridge again as though you've just fallen. You can come outside and catch, or you can swim up and catch and trap the arm. When you do this, use this leg to trap this leg. This removes the ability of him to brace himself. With this arm, you're going to reach as far as you can over your shoulder and bridge up on the top of your head as you extend your hips. This will cause him to turn, and you immediately come to a guard position and posture up to keep from being pulled down. As before, knees up high, elbows tucked, the strike comes. Timing is everything. When the strike starts, hips up. Do not come back down. If you come back down, he resets. So when the strike comes, you bridge, stay up. Reach inside or outside. I prefer inside for more leverage. Trap, arm up and over your head and go. And straight to an up position here.
Shoulder lock. The shoulder lock transporter is a good controlling technique because of the position in which you put the subject's arm. This technique incorporates pain compliance, joint manipulation, and balance displacement. It can also be applied on a handcuffed subject. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. Begin from the escort position. Raise the subject's elbow upward, then roll the subject's shoulder forward. Push the controlled arm behind the subject's back over your forearm, placing your hand on the subject's triceps. Reach across the subject's back and control the subject's head with your right hand, for example, by grabbing behind the subject's neck or the opposite shoulder. Maintain control or follow up with appropriate actions. Armbar. Use loud, clear verbal commands throughout the application of this technique. From the scarfold grip, release your clasped hands while maintaining control of the subject's shoulder with your arm around his or her neck. Grab the subject's closest arm with your free hand, palm down. Slide your bottom leg upwards so that your thigh is close to the subject's shoulder. Place the tricep of the subject's arm in an extended position across your thigh. Use your chest to compress the subject's chest as you push down on the subject's wrist. You may use your leg to trap the extended arm. This gives more control and strength and frees your hand. From this position, you may continue to hold the subject, escalate, or disengage.